Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a video on the planned battle rank changes for November 2018, and this is only going to be for Arcade Battle. The European Canadian did his video today, talking about the planned uh, battle rating changes for November 2018, and he commented that he was only going to be doing RB, and he said if you guys wanted to hear any videos about Arcade Battle, go somewhere else. So I guess this is somewhere else. I'm joined by Massacre. Can you please say hello?
Hello?
Okay, and basically we're gonna go through this. This it's not a very big list. It's a very small list of planned battle rank changes. So the first vehicle on our list is going to be the SU 57 Bravo. It is going to be going from a 3.7 to a 3.3 in the Russian tree. Um, what do you think?
Oh, I think 3.7 was where it ought to be, and it was kind of reflected by the fact that they changed it to 3.7 in the other two game modes.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't quite sure that it belonged at 3.3, but looking at the lineup for it, 3.3 is kind of an awkward place to put it. You could probably take the first T-34, and then maybe either a T-28 or a BR-152, or a BTR-152. Yeah, at 3.7, I think it was a little bit more convenient. It was something you could put alongside your T-34 lineup, if that's what you're wanting to use in your KV-1 L11.
3.7 was a little bit crowded though. We're talking 29K SU
Not for
57
tank
Bravo.
destroyers.
Yeah, I know, but there was a
Right?
lot of other things you can choose from at 3.7.
Well, there is,
Yeah,
for sure.
you have T-34s, minimum two T-34s, three if you have the gold one. You have a KV-1 at 3.7. So I think it might be a little bit crowded. Um, so now at 3.3, you kind of have to build a whole new, I
Well,
guess.
the thing with that is you already have the ZIS-30 at 2.7,
Mm-hmm.
which is the same gun. Pen-wise, if you were to take out the BR-123K round, you get the same penetration that you do on the ZIS-30. And you'd say, well, SU-57B is a closed shell, right?
Mm-hmm.
With 5 millimeters of armor on the back. It's not really protecting from any aircraft.
Yeah,
The most you could balance is like very small arms fire from the back.
I know I can pen when you go up in arcade battles and you get a plane. You can pen the top armor of SU-57 Bravo.
Yeah. So at least on that front it is. Maybe it's a little bit faster. Yeah, we'll give it that. Yeah, nope, it's slower. So you're not even getting a speed boost. It is
So
actually overall, I'd say the best thing it has going for it. I actually cannot find anything that this has going for it over the ZIS 30.
at 3.3, so I'm building a lineup right now of 3.3 and 2.7 vehicles.
Right.
Uh, so just a quick thing. BDR 152 3.0 AA T26 T28 Echo 2.7
And
T34
the T-34
1940,
1940.
and then
Yeah.
even a ZIS 30. I have a lot of crews. Um, you're basically you have two three threes, and everything else is kind of being up tiered
Like, I
now.
mean, I could see putting it down to the VR that they're putting it down to because I actually can't see a reason as to why it's above the ZIS 30 in VR.
Yeah.
Because the ZIS 30, at least in the early game, would be better than it in almost every metric.
I got to tell you, all of us, we all suffered spading this out at 3.7, and some
Yeah.
of us did. What is the name for this thing?
The dino.
Okay, the dinosaur. So I guess you can, if you wanted, you can still up tier it to 3.7, like all of us
You
did.
could. It's probably what you might do because a lot more people play 3.7 than lower BRs. But I think at that point you might still come up with tank destroyers that you prefer.
Okay, so down tiering, lowering a tier of something this bad is always a good thing, I guess, right?
The again, the gun is
Good.
this is 30. I'm sorry, all I can see is the ZIS 30 because
Yeah.
this thing is comparable in every way to the ZIS 30. I don't know why the ZIS 4 has next to no advantages
Yeah.
over the ZIS 2, but it does. Yeah, there's no way it has an advantage.
So you think it should be lower?
I think you could put it at 2.7 almost.
How about we
I
split
don't
the
think I'd be
difference
able to.
at? How about we split the difference at 3.0?
I wouldn't put this at 3.0.
You wouldn't?
Like maybe frontal armor. Let's take a look. You have how much armor on the ZIS 30? Oh, you have absolutely nothing on the front. But that's compared to having what at the front? Armor equivalent of 30 millimeters. So maybe you could bounce a 50 cal or two more than you would in the ZIS 30.
So it can't. It'll stop 50 cals, but that's about
I mean, that's all I would really depend on it stopping. At best, you could stop the French 37 millimeters at range.
it. You couldn't even stop a Stuart with this thing.
No, not from the front. And this isn't going to block any armor. I mean, even the thickest parts of the mantlet is the same thickness as the rest of the front armor. There's no point aiming anywhere on it. Just kill it. But yeah, let's move on. It's ZIS 30. End of
Okay.
story.
Okay. So the next vehicle is the BMP 2, and that is going from a 7.7 to a new 8.0. We talked about this a little earlier today, um, because at least I was pointing out that there's a lot of 7.7s already in the game. Um, three T-54s, IS-4M, and the
Object
the Zoot
120
the Zoot
as well.
57 and Object 120. So that's 6 vehicles right there. The BMP 2 made
Puts it
its,
to 7.
yeah, and now that it's an 8.0, um, it's the BMP 2 and the Object 906 at 8.0, and the Zoot, the
Zoot
Shoka,
23.
the Shoka.
Yeah. IS-7 as well if you have it. But,
Yes.
I mean, BMP2 at 8.0, it's not filling the slot in 7.7s. So you could put better stuff in your 7.7 lineup. But at the same time, the BMP2 at 7.7 means you had a lineup that could spit in the face in COD and get away with it. You know, like it's kind of a ridiculous lineup. It's the IS-4, questionable, but you have the Object 120. You got the BMP2, both of which have incredible pen if you include the BMP2's AATGM.
Yep.
And then it's got a gun that is very competent at dealing with things in close range. Maybe not far away, but hoping to hit anything effectively with an autocannon from across the hill range. Not going to happen. But at 7.7, you'd probably just switch out one of your T-54s for the BMP2, and you'd be better off for doing so. So for a 7.7 lineup, it hurts it. For an 8.0 lineup, it helps it. But you could have easily just taken the BMP2 up into 8.0. So it's just taking something away from the 7.7 lineup.
Okay. So
The other advantage of it is not going up against 6.7 such as T-34s and Tiger 2s.
yes.
Yeah, that would be a reason.
Yeah. So
Object 120 should have the same treatment, but
actually, I do agree on that. The Object 120 should probably be an 8.0 in arcade.
at the least. Not
Because
really sure where to put
I know
that.
I've gone into a 6.7 with Tiger 2s and stuff like that and run across BMPs with their missile and they just completely knock you out at
Well, the
range.
the BMP-1 can do that too. It's got the same missile, in fact. If you get the fully upgraded
Yeah,
version, you
fully
lose the
upgraded.
autoloader for it, but
Yeah.
got a good crew. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So I guess it's always a good thing, going up
It's
for
a good
something
thing
like
for
that.
everybody else, and it's a good thing for you in arcade as well, because of course you're facing it, no matter what you take out.
Yeah.
So it's something less you have to face. But
It
if you're running Russian 7.7, it's kind of something you miss.
yeah, but think about it. You have well, I mean, you can I guess I would kind of get bored driving T-54s all day.
Yeah. You'd be driving a lot of T-54s. I mean, you'd have other options. You got the 120 and the ZSU-57. Definitely a bit of variety there.
Okay.
Mostly
So
T-54.
yeah, and there are a lot of us that have Object 906s already because when it was a 7.0.
Used to be at 7.0. Yeah.
Okay, so the next vehicle on our list would be the Panther A. The Panther A is going down from a 6.7 or a 6.60 to a 5.7. So this is the Panther
Yes.
A. Let me choose a crew really quick. Let me choose a crew for my Panther G2. And then choose a crew.
So, Panther A, if I were to compare it to the Panther B, better turret traverse speed by far.
Mm-hmm.
Massive improvement on that. It's got the same armor as the Panther D for the most part, I'd say. Maybe the Panther D is a little bit better armored, though I'm not really aware as to how well. However, it's also being put at 5.7, being a what would be considered an upgrade in every sense. I think one of the reasons it's being put down to that tier is because the Ursat's M10, most likely.
Okay.
I've got to experiment with the 5.7 Panther. I definitely think it's something that you should be playing while it's at 5.7. I'm not sure it's going to stay there because this is a much better Panther. It's probably with the upgrades is going to be something that I would actually say is better than the Tiger in ways. Whereas the Panther D is something that's often been referred to as the you'll want to go for this before you get to the Tiger because that's better survivability. But
There are
I've
also
never found that to be the case.
a lot of people who would disagree with you on that. They say go for the Tiger first.
I go for the Tiger first. I don't tell anybody else to go for the Tiger first. But now with this Panther A, I'm not sure that would be quite the case if this is at 5.7. I mean, going up the tree, go for the Tiger first, but
I
when
can
you have your 5.7 lineup, I'd put the Panther A in,
yeah.
and I might main it.
I did remember that the Panther A had the 3-piece mantlet in the front. I forgot about that. While the Panther G only has the
Panther
2-piece.
G has the cast.
Yeah.
That's what matters. Is the type of armor. It's still the rolled homogeneous, not the cast homogeneous. And that means because the cast has a 0.9% multiplier. At 5.7, it's going to be good. I don't know how good, but good.
One last thing I wanted to check. Okay, yeah, I think all the Panthers have smoke now, finally.
Yeah.
So that should be good. So it's going down from 5.7. It's going down to a 5.7. So at least we don't have to have just. I could tell you when I was doing all four Panthers, trying to spade them out. Um, I think two of them were actually 5.7, and if I remember correctly, the Panther F was actually a 5 or a 6.3 at that time. It was a higher BR.
Yeah.
That was painful sometimes taking the Panther F into 6.3s. It was very
Oh,
painful.
I took it up into 6.7 with the Tiger too.
It's painful when you're trying to spade them out, though.
Yeah, they're
It's
not
pretty.
really the best necessarily at 6.0,
Yeah.
but this thing at 5.7 should be better. I mean, Panther D already is a bit of a pain to deal with. This takes that and kind of makes it a bit worse. I think it's gonna be you're gonna have the issue where it's gonna end up in a lot of places you don't want it to be, and given that you can turn your turret so fast, you're probably gonna reveal the sides of your turret to enemy fire more often than you would with the other, just because of the speed it takes.
Yeah, and we all know Panthers in a down tier are pretty deadly.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
this thing's going to be going up against jumbos as well, right?
yeah, jumbos and
Uh,
like KV ones.
I'd say this is basically like a T-34-85,
Yeah,
essentially at this point. I mean, with the Panther D, you could definitely point out some differences, but now it's like you got the survivability, a bit more than T-34 for sure, but you definitely got the Church first to keep up with it.
so I think our next vehicle we did talk about this one again is the Panzer IV-E, and we were talking about the little bit of a difference between the Panzer IV-E and the Panzer F1. The Panzer F1 we both know um, is a 2.3 now, and it's basically they're both basically the exact same tank.
But
One
with
thing
better
we
side armor.
yeah the front armor of the Panzer F1 is 50 mils, and the side armor is 30s. Um, while the Panzer IV Echo is only 20 mils on the side and 30 mils in the front and turret. Um,
Right. But in terms of its gun, which is
Turns of
what's
its
really going to defend
gun,
you,
turret rotation speed, it's exactly the same. Speed's exactly the same.
yeah, and once you get the heat for it, it's not going to have any issues. The Panzer three
Yeah,
at 2.3.
yeah. I don't think it's gonna have any issues.
That's just going to be a bit easier on those just coming into the game at
Yeah.
1.0, I
Yeah. One
think.
thing you did notice is you at 2.3, people joining the game and observe in 1.0 will not see this thing, which I guess it's a good
Uh,
thing.
when they're at 1.0, when they get to 1.3, but by the time they get to 1.3, they'll have maybe definitely more competent tanks. That's for
Yes,
sure.
but at I agreed with you on this one. At 1.0 in reserve, you should not have been seeing this vehicle.
No.
At
I mean,
at 1.0.
the sad thing we can never solve, however, is the scourge that is the German 20 millimeter.
Yes. Actually, the German 20 millimeter can. I think it actually can pen the front of this. Well, it got 60 mils of pen, so it can pen even the F1.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a quick one. The next one down on our list is also in the German tree.
Okay.
Is the Leopard A1A1 and the Leopard A1A1 L44. They're both at 9.0 right now, and they're both going down to 8.7. Before we say anything, we did point out the Germans do not have an 8.7 lineup right now in arcade. There's not a
They do.
single tank right as of now as an 8.7.
At least not one that can be found in the tree. But
Yes.
the this is a tank which I think is going to make being at any BR below 8.7 painful because they've mentioned that they're bringing the BR down,
Mm-hmm.
but they have not mentioned that they are going to take away any of its ammunition.
Oh,
So both of these tanks
they're not
are
going to.
getting APFSDS
Yes.
at that PR. So you have something that has no drop. Not that drop's really an issue in arcade, but still, it's a big deal. A stabilizer,
Yes.
and if they spent the money on it, and you're going to be seeing quite a few of these, especially with this new BR change, 120 millimeter Rheinmetall gun, which was previously only seen as low as 9.7, and then 9.0, and now 8.7.
So
This is a gun that is point and click. It is not you choose where to penetrate. It's going to go through.
mm-hmm.
This is one of the best penetrating guns in the game, and it's at 8.7 now. With the stabilizer, and with a very high velocity on the shell. I mean, you can do it with heat,
Oh yeah.
and you're gonna more likely to one-shot with heat. But the thing with heat is you gotta range it. APFSDS gets a little bit of the benefit of
Point and click.
you just put the center of your scope where you think they're gonna be, and you're good to go. There's no having to
1650.
range ahead of time.
1650 meters a second.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I mean, even if you're not going to talk about, say, managing drop, hitting targets on the move is going to be very easy. They'll be next to you. Just point at them. You don't have to lead them.
So at 8.7 now, you'd be basically taking the Leopard A1. If you
Why
have,
wouldn't you?
you would take the L44 if you also have it, and then you'd be backing it up with a Bagel Panzer, or
Or the other thing they put down to 8.7, the TAM.
oh yeah, yeah, we can talk about the TAM now. The TAM is also a 9.0 right now, and it's also going down to an 8.7.
It is a A1 with the capabilities of a light tank. There's no other way to put it. You lose a bit of armor, you gain the functionality of a light tank. Which this means is you're not maybe going to bounce auto cannon rounds from like a warrior or a BMP2,
Mm-hmm.
but instead you get spotting mechanic, which can get you more points. It's not going to, be as useful as it is in realistic for sure, especially with the name tag of Doom over you. But this is going to be something you bring out after you bring out your A1A1s.
Okay, so as you pointed out earlier, they basically just made a German 8.7 lineup for us.
A meta German 8.7 lineup.
Yes. So
People will be playing this to death. And
everybody,
even as a German, don't play your mouse. Maybe your leopard. Your leopard will be fine, as long as you don't up tier it. But if you can avoid anything 7.7 and above, do. But where I think this change might be interesting, and I think maybe the intent behind this was they are trying to set an 8.7 meta for the game. Reason being is they want 9.7s maybe not to be dragged into as many 10-0 games.
okay, so they want 9.7 to be a little bit.
Well, not down tier consistently, but they want more people, I think, playing from 8.7 to 9.7. So 9.3s, 9.0s,
Yeah,
so on and so forth.
and there are a lot
And
of
I
people who
think
are at
this
that
is a
BR
move they're
too.
trying to go for getting that done.
Okay.
Whether or not it works, who knows? If I were you at top tier, try it out. It might be a lot better.
Well,
I doubt,
I'm
we'll see,
almost
but
at this tier anyway. This is basically where I'm
I've
at in the game.
Yeah,
8-3.
I have a bit of doubt though at the same time because again you'll be going up against those Leo A1A1s, and I think they're still 9.0 tanks.
Yeah.
So even taking in your 9.0s and your 9.3s, don't underestimate them. They're still plenty powerful.
Yep. Next vehicle. The European Canadian's gonna love this. They are moving the Chieftain Mark III from an 8.3, as we all know. Let's see. Put that in a crew. They are moving this from an 8.3 to an 8.7. This is an 8.3 top tier tank. with a 120 millimeter at 8.3. The one thing I questioned it is they're moving it to 8.7 with the same as the Chieftain Mark V, and it's slower.
Yeah.
And
Again, my thinking is with it was the
8.7 lineup.
Chieftain Mark V. I don't think so. Chieftain Mark V was it added first, or was the Chieftain Mark III added first?
I
guess
don't
their
remember.
BRs would have been adjusted, anyways.
Yeah.
So my thinking for it being at 8.3 is they looked at it, they said this actually has a noticeable difference between this and the Chieftain Mark V, so we're gonna put its BR a bit lower, like what used to be the case with the Tiger E and the Tiger H1,
Mm-hmm.
that are now the same BR, having previously been 6.0. No one would use it.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably what happened, the idea with the Chieftains, and they decided that the difference isn't enough, and that this is still truly an 8.7 tank. I personally would have thought that both are 8.3 tanks, perhaps. Gaijin thinks otherwise.
Okay. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
I can tell you I've taken it out plenty of times now, and I don't like it. It is slow.
Well, now they're going to be going up against Leo A1A1s all day.
Yay.
Both
And the last vehicle for tonight, we had a little talk about this. This was the AMX M4 is going up from a 6.0 to a 6.3. One thing we did notice this about putting it to a 6.3. I'm just going to set my lineup really quick. So before at 6.0, as you can see on my screen, I had the AMX M4, the CA Lorraine, and the AMX 13, all at a 6.3. And so now one's going to be at a 6.3. But we did talk about this. The CA Lorraine and the AMX 13 all can handle themselves at even 6.7.
I'd say
Because
the Sierra Lorraine is a little more vulnerable when it comes to up tiers. I mean, the
but
AMX
it's
13.
but its gun can still the CA Lorraine's gun can still do stuff at 6.7. It's
gun can operate at that BR, but the fact that it lacks an autoloader
and armor.
and armor, and the fact that as fast as it is and as wonderful as that is, it kind of I'd say it's comparable to playing a Puma in ways, like a pack Puma.
Oh, 75
or at
millimeter
least
long
similar.
barrel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's a bit harder to control. So when you finally approach something to shoot at it, or when you're going to aim, you got to kind of feather the W key or the A key or the D key,
Well,
whichever
I know for me
you need
it's
to press
when
that
in
time.
this thing is because of its speed, I try to get to a place where I can shoot people at long range.
And its lack of armor leads to you just getting taken out at the start of the game, right?
No, if you can get to certain places in a map, you can outrange everybody. I'm talking like killing enemies at 1.2, 1.6, even 1.8 kilometers away. Because at 68 kph, you're at 6.0, you're basically, or even 6.3 now, you're still one of the fastest things on the map. And you can get to a lot of places where you can kind of hide yourself.
But if you're having to go like over a kilometer away, there's a lot of arcade players that prefer not to and stay somewhat close in.
Yeah.
For those ones, I'd say don't scope in. Better just to stay in third person and whip your tank around and blast somebody and then run away as fastly as you can.
Yeah, and you
It's,
know,
you zoom in there, you kill them, and you get out as fast as you can. That's the only effective way to use it in close quarters.
and we both agreed that the AMX-13 with the scouting mechanic, the airstrike mechanic
And the
is
12-round autoloader.
and the 12 autoloader. Let's show that to everybody. There we go. It's 12 rounds. 12 rounds autoloader.
Yeah, 5-second reload.
Yeah.
It's
This
what
thing,
it does everything it needs to.
yep. Even at
I mean, it
6.3
doesn't
and
have the
6.7.
amount of pen that the CA Lorraine does, but the speed at which this gun reloads,
You should not
the pen.
be shooting people in the front with this tank either.
Oh, you can shoot people up front with that tank, no
You
issue.
can, but you should be really flanking them, getting around them, literally doing circles around people with this thing.
If you want to engage somebody from the front within reason, you can.
So, the AMX
But
M4,
flanking is better.
yeah, the AMX M4 going up from a 6.0 to a 6.3, I don't think it's going to make any too much of a difference. It doesn't mess with your lineup as
I
much.
think that it's gonna not necessarily do good things for the CA Lorraine. I think that's a 6.0, and you can't put it any higher. But at the very least, I would say that the AMX M4 is definitely not a 6.0. It's a bit higher. It's got good armor, good gun, good reload, good turret traverse.
It's
It's better
fast.
than the Panther in every way. Like every Panther, with the exception of the 7.0 Panther 2, which of course is at a higher BR for that reason.
What's the autoloader on it? 6 rounds?
6.7 seconds with a 6 or 7 round autoloader. I believe they do get one more round than the Lorraine does.
1 in the chamber, 5 ready.
You'd think.
I'm
But
looking. Yeah, it's
7
1,
pieces
2,
per
3.
stage.
Yeah.
There you go. So 7 rounds at a 5.7 second or 6.7 second reload. This is the worst loading autoloader out of the French tree. As a French player,
But it's still good.
I don't really like it. I think it's better definitely in the AMX M4 than it is in the Batchat. I wish the Char 25T was as good as its stat card says it should be, but sadly it is not. It's got very poor acceleration in comparison to the M4, which is surprising.
Yeah.
To me.
Okay, so those were all the BR changes for arcade battles. We will be doing another video on the aircraft arcade battle, the battle ranking changes. There aren't as much compared to RB and SB, so it's half the vehicles are not having any changes in arcade. So these were all the changes that we saw and that we're talking about.
That we will be seeing. Yep.
Yeah.
Probably
So
in the next week or so, I'm guessing.
yep. So stay tuned for the next video. Should be out tomorrow or the next day. So if you have any comments or questions, just put them into the description. We will be paying attention to them and answering your questions. We will see you in the next video.